And may I quote verbatim, we are revising the agency's budget. Nanggaling sa kanila po. We have removed complicated projects, overlapping projects that are still receiving funding or that have been allocated funding for 2026. Verbatim po, siya nagsabi niyan. Hindi kami nag-invento niyan. I-restore yung mga duplicated, completed, and overlapping projects. Doon ako nagtataka.
Naku, kanina pa naghihintay ang ating mga kababayan dyan sa vice cam na yan. Yan ang problema. Pagka nakapatay ang camera, hindi naman namin alam kung ano pinag-uusapan nyo. Mantakin nyo, 450 kayo mag-uumpisa. Sa bagay, pag-uusapan pa lang ngayong araw na to, ang budget ng DPWH. Wala ho tayong maraming pasakali dito. Papanoorin lang ho natin na sabay-sabay kung paano ho ungguyin itong mga kongresaman at mga senador na to ang sambayan ng Pilipino. Ano ba naging dahilan ng delay? Hindi ba kayo nagkakasundo dyan sa vice cam kung sino ang pinakamalaki ang insertion? Sino ang pinakamalaking SOP? Pambihira o kanina pa kayo hinihintay na sambayan ng Pilipino. Pag nakapatay ang camera, wala nang nakakaalam kung ano pinag-uusapan nyo. Sa bagay, naibalik na pala yung 95 billion na tinanggal ng DPWH dyan sa budget ng DPWH. Tinanggal ho yun siya pero sa vice cam daw, di umano, sabi nitong si Atty. Rowena Gonzalo, naibalik na. Pero bago yan sa like at subscribe, masaya na ho tayo dyan sa mga gusto sumali sa ating community. Yung join button na dyan lang ho sa baba. Eto na ho mga kababayan, ikukwento na ho sa atin itong mga unggoy na to kung anong napag-usapan nila behind the scene dyan sa vice cam na yan. Kung anong napag-usapan ni Swansing at nitong si Gatchalian. Kung anong utos si Sandro Marcos at nitong si Marcos Jr. dito kay Rex Gatchalian at dito kay Sandro Marcos dito sa dalawang nag-uusap na to sa vice cam. Eto na ho ang video mga kababayan. Game!
Conference Committee conferees, the Honorable Alan P., the Honorable Marcelino Libanan, the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez, the Honorable Marcar Zamora, the Honorable Christine Singson Mihan.
Grabe, ganun lang, umaalis tayo. Okay mga kababayan, namnamin nyo lang ho mga kabalbalan dyan sa vice cam. I-iskamin naman ho ang sambayan ng Pilipino nitong mga unggoy na congressman at senador na to. Game!
The Honorable Albert Garcia, the Honorable Pepito Alvarez, the Honorable Brian Yamsuan, the Honorable Javi Benitez, and the Honorable JJ Romualdo.
Yes, go ahead, Senator Kiko.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just a manifestation. We'd like to apologize to our counterparts in the House if we requested for a later time to convene. Originally, we said we would convene at 2 o'clock.
Pagbigyan nyo na kasi yung gustong mangyari ng mga congressman. Utos yan ni nang nasa taas. Sino bang boss niyang si Yan si Swansing. Di ba si Sandro Marcos? Sino bang boss niyang si Win Gatchalian? Di ba si Marcos Jr.? Tauhan ni Marcos Jr. Yan si Rex Gatchalian, kapatid ni Win Gatchalian. Inuunggoy ho tayo ng mga yan. Makakala nyo, napasingit ako kasi kasalanan pala nitong si Unggoy kung bakit nadili ang usapan dyan sa vice cam.
And then we requested that it be at 3 o'clock. And so that the public likewise is aware why the delay has taken place. It's because some of our colleagues in the Senate raised some concerns about some of the items that have been tackled and will be tackled, and we felt the need to convene I wouldn't say emergency, but a meeting to be able to thresh these matters out, and it took us about almost 2 hours. Or an hour, almost 2 hours. Yes, and that's why we apologize for the delay. For the record, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for expressing our apology to our counterparts, House counterparts. I know that the House contingent was here early, and we, again, on behalf of the Senate contingent, we apologize for the delay. And well, we can already proceed with our item for today.
Just a quick response to Senator Kiko. We appreciate it and we understand po. When we were informed about it earlier today, we understood the situation and we were ready. We readily gave our acceptance, approval of the proposal. So on the part of the House, thank you po for giving us some time also to do a huddle for about an hour that further delay the proceedings. We appreciate the understanding of our colleagues in the Senate, and we're looking forward to proceeding with the rest of the meeting for today. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Chairperson.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Madam Chair, I have a manifestation and observation. While we were having a picture right there, can you flash the title of this bicameral committee? Because it says there, bicameral conference committee on disagreeing votes. Huh? How can there be a disagreeing votes? See? So it seems to be not in the proper English language, nor the context that we have. How can there be? There are many concurrences that we have. So provisions, because the procedure is, conflicting provisions, because the procedure is original, is exclusive, it will exclusively originate in the House. So we have the original provisions. And then the Constitution, Article 6, the legislature, Section 24 says, but the Senate may propose or concur with amendments. So you have your amendments, we can see them, and so these are the amendatory provisions. So we cannot have disagreeing votes. How can we have disagreeing votes? We have not voted yet. We have not even voted when we start. How can that be? So it's a wrong English. I suggest we put the disagreeing provisions because from the original, we have now the amendatory. How can there be disagreeing votes?
Thank you for that, Congressman Rufus. I was just conferring with the Senate Secretariat. The explanation to me is because we're tackling the House bill, and there's only one bill that we are tackling today, which is the General Appropriations Bill. That's why the correct term, or the term that should be used, is votes instead of disagreeing provisions, because there's no other bill that are being discussed. So there's only one bill. So, but just to move forward with this, and I acknowledge your comments on this, we are requiring the Secretariat to look into this matter and again do some more research on the previous bicameral conference committee on what terminologies that they used.
Mr. Chairman, irrespective of the previous ones, if it's wrong, it's wrong. And it is, well, it is true, the other bicameral conference committees are about 2 bills passed by the House and passed by the Senate. That's fine. So, however, even in this particular instance, House Bill 4058 originates from the House. So we have the original provisions. And then you discuss it, and you have under the Constitution, the provisions to amend it. Either concur or amend. So I think we should change this because those reading us, disagreeing votes. How can we have that, Mr. Chairman? So I hope that we change it now so that we are right disagreeing provisions of the House Bill number 4058, original and the mandatory provision. There are no insertions from the Senate. That's why people say they're inserted the senators. No. The senators are amending it or concurring with it. It's only in the bicameral there can be insertions. And so the Senate is doing its job, and it is really amendments under the Constitution. So let us be able to change that, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Well, let me direct the committee secretary to just remove this cover page for now. I think that's a better compromise moving forward. But we acknowledge your comments, Congressman Rufus, and we acknowledge your legal expertise in terms of these matters. So for now, we'll just remove it, and we'll request the committee secretary to look into this. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that matter up. All right. So the department on hand right now is the Department of Public Works and Highways. So we'll allow the House to present the General Appropriations Bill. Yeah.
Senator Win, with the permission of the Senate panel, before going to the numbers, I would first like to request that we give Secretary Vince Dizon the opportunity to present with regard to one of the most pressing factors in the discussion around DPWH, which is the... My apologies, there was a really bad feedback in the room, which is to give Secretary Vince the opportunity to present and explain with regard to one of the points of contention, which is with regard to the CMPD reduction.
Before that, Madam Chairperson, I was going to raise that later on, but since you've raised this, last night while we were conducting our bicameral conference committee hearing, the DPWH posted a statement in their social media page. And just allow me to read a statement of the DPWH. The Department of Public Works and Highways has requested the Senate of the Philippines to restore the deducted amounts from the projects in the 2026 DPWH proposed budget as a result of the reductions in the Construction Materials Price Data, or CMPD. The DPWH has asked that it be allowed to implement the project cost changes using the updated CMPD special issuance in the exercise of its executive functions in order to ensure its proper execution. The motion for reconsideration is made to ensure that the detailed process of applying the new CMPD will be followed to avoid inaccurate costing and potential project unimplementability, which may lead to underspending and related legal and administrative issues. To ensure that DPWH implementing offices will strictly comply with the updated CMPD, a department order has been issued which strictly mandates the following. 1. Follow a workflow to adjust all pay items in the programs of work, POW, using the updated CMPD. Revise all approved budgets for contracts. Require detailed documentation and quality assurance and mandatory compliance prior to the procurement. The department assures that the Senate and the House of Representatives that the updated CMPD will strictly implement at the regional and district engineering offices, and that failure to comply with this order shall be subject to administrative sanctions under existing civil service and department rules, as well as filing of appropriate administrative and/or criminal charges under relevant laws. So this was issued by DPWH last night. And the context of this, Madam Chair, and to our colleagues from the House of Representatives, is during our budget hearings, 2 budget hearings in the Senate, we asked the DPWH, dahil alam namin na itong budget na ito ay ginawa nung dating administration na si Secretary Bonoan pa ang gumawa. No? At dahil maraming nangyaring hindi magaganda o anomalya doon sa kanyang administrasyon, at nakita naman ho natin yung issue ng flood control, issue ng mga SOP, issue ng mga overpricing, issue ng lagayan, issue ng ghost projects, tinanong namin ito kay Secretary Vince Dizon dahil siya na yung pumalit na bagong kalihim po ng DPWH. Tinanong ho namin yan. Senator Loren was there, no, in the 2 hearings about this issue of overpricing. During that hearing, sinabi niya na meron ngang overpricing in the past. No? At meron ngang mga presyo na hindi naman tama sa presyo ng panahon. Ibig sabihin, mas mababa ang presyo ngayon. So sabi niya, dahil mas mababa ang presyo ho ngayon, yung presyong nasa loob ng budget, mas mataas yun kumpara sa presyo ngayon. Kaya nga ho sila nag-issue nitong bagong Construction Materials Price Data, CMPD. No, nag-issue ho sila nitong CMPD, mas mababa po yung presyo. At yung presyo na yon ay gumawa ho sila ng formula, ito yung tinatawag nilang adjustment factor, at yun naman po ang in-apply ho ng Senado sa presyo ng mga projects na nasa loob ng budget. No? Yung po yung in-apply ho namin. So ang ibig sabihin ho nito, Madam Chairperson, that the adjustment factors came from DPWH and the statement that there were overpriced items in the budget came from DPWH. And we support that because gusto nga ho natin mas mura, mas mababa yung presyo at dapat po yung budget ay sumasalamin sa presyo ho ng panahon na mas mababa. Lalo na sa ganitong konteksto na marami ho tayong mga kababayan na nagagalit dahil po dito sa flood control issue. Marami ho tayong mga kababayan na nagagalit dahil sa overpricing at SOP. Ginawa ho ng Senado, pinababa na ho namin yung presyo. No? Para makatipid tayo. No? At pangalawa, wala na hong mangyaring overpricing ho sa loob ng budget. So yun po yung ginawa po ng Senado. Kaya yun po yung ang konteksto nitong statement na ho ito.
Senator, if I may respond, ito po kasi, meron naman po tayong parehong pagkakaintindihan patungkol sa overpricing. I think both houses, both panels recognize that there has been a situation where there was overpricing in the estimates of the past, and SecVince has acknowledged that as well. Maybe, perhaps the main point of contention is the application of these CMPD reductions. From what I read in the statement of SecVince, that's Win just read now, is that there is verbatim, let me just quote that part. If such process is not followed, this will inevitably result in the potential unimplementability of projects due to inaccurate costing. So I think the concern of Secretary Vince is how the adjustment factor that was shared was applied in the projects. Ang posibleng mangyari kung ganun kalaki sa kasalukuyan o hindi ganun kalaki kung ganun yung application sa iba't ibang mga proyekto na ginawa yung across the board na pag-deduct sa ibang mga project na hindi tinitignan isa-isa yung mga proyekto, posibleng hindi ma-implement yung mga proyekto. Ano ang implikasyon na ito? Imbes po na makatipid yung ating gobyerno, imbes po na ang pinupunterya lang natin ay yung parte na overpriced, ang mangyayari po hindi talaga ma-i-implement yung kabuuan ng proyekto. Humingi po ako ng paunang data mula po sa DPWH, and I will let SecVince explain the point later. But you are looking at potentially 200 billion pesos in unimplementable projects. 400 billion kasi yung affected, 400 billion pesos yung affected projects. As much as 200 billion projects can become unimplementable. So tignan lang po natin yon mula po sa perspective ng ano po ang tama nito sa ating ekonomiya, gaano po karaming tao ang mawawalan ng trabaho. Siguro po nagbigay naman po din ng assurance si Secretary Vince na i-implement po itong reduction sa presyo. Babawasan po talaga yung presyo, pero ang kahilingan lang po ng DPWH ay kung pwede po bigyan po sila ng pagkakataon na i-apply itong CMPD reduction sa bawat proyekto. At hindi po natin kayang gawin to sa pagitan ng araw na to at sa susunod na linggo kung kailan kailangan nating pirmahan yung budget. Pero ang assurance naman po na ibinigay ni SecVince ay babawasan talaga yung presyo. Pero hindi pa nila kaya i-determine sa punto na ito kung gaano kalaki talaga yung ibabawas na presyo sa bawat proyekto. I'll let SecVince explain that. That is my understanding of the letter that he sent to the Bicameral Conference Committee yesterday. But I will let SecVince explain the point later.
Mr. Chair.
Before I recognize Senator Erwin, kami naman sa Senado, Chairperson Mika, gusto rin namin ma-implement yung mga proyekto. Gusto rin ho namin makita yung mga proyekto na mangyari, mapatupad ho yun. Pero ang hindi ho gusto ng Senado ay mag-approve tayo ng budget na overpriced yung amounts o yung presyo na nasa loob ng budget. At alam ho natin na hindi ito budget na ginawa ni Secretary Vince. Ito po ay ginawa pa ng bagong administrasyon ng DPWH na alam rin natin na ngayon ay kinakasuhan at nasasangkot sa maraming anomalya. Kaya ang kami sa Senado, at hindi lang po ang Bicameral Conference Committee conferees, kung hindi I speak on behalf of the other senators and also the leadership of the Senate. Napag-usapan ho namin ni Senate President Tito Soto to at iba pang mga kasamahan naming senador na hindi ho kasama dito sa conferees, kundi kasamahan ho namin sa buong Senado, na ang gusto ho natin ay masigurado na itong budget na approve ho natin ay hindi ho overpriced, ay hindi po nanggaling sa mga materyales na napakamahal. Dahil ang konteksto ngayon, ang tao wala nang tiwala Wala na hong tiwala dito sa gobyerno ho natin at sa mga proseso ho natin. Kaya ang pinakamagandang paraan para ibalik ho yung tiwala nila ay magkaroon ng budget na tama po ang presyo. At ito na yung pagkakataon ho natin dahil binabalangkas na ho natin itong budget na ito. Ito na ang pinakamagandang pagkakataon na mapakita ho natin na kahit nasa presyo, tama po yung ating ina-approve na budget.
Senator, lilinawin ko po, matibay po at malinaw din yung panindigan ng Kongreso. Kaisa niyo po kami. Tatanggalin po natin tong parte ng budget, ng pera na nakaukol sa mga projects na considered na overpriced. Ang sinasabi lang po natin, pakinggan po natin sa SecVince, para po maipaliwanag niya na kung ngayon pa lang kakaltasin na maraming mga projects na hindi mai-implement dahil nasobrahan po sa kaltas. Yung iba naman po nakulangan sa kaltas. So, yun lang po siguro yung pinag-uusapan natin. Kaisa niyo po kami, gusto nating tanggalin yung parte na overpriced. Pero siguro po, mas malinaw, kung okay lang po, Sen. Win, let's turn it over to Sec. Vince. If I may make a motion to please invite Secretary Vince Dizon to be a resource person to the
Secretary,
bicameral
Secretary,
conference.
Before we call the resource persons, allow the members to say their piece and also to echo their sentiments para ho, at least malaman ho natin lahat kung ano yung sa loobin po ng isa't isa.
Sen. Win, if I may, kasi po, perhaps the best approach would be to let Sec. Vince present, and then if all the conferees have questions, because he will be the best person to answer the questions.
Actually, with all due respect, dahil pinag-aralan din ho namin to. No?
Pinag-aralan din po natin
Kaya nga,
to.
mas
Alam
maganda
natin
ho,
yun
siguro
lahat.
bago ho natin patawag siya, ay bigyan ho natin pagkakataon po ang isa't isa na magbigay ho ng kanilang pahayag. So we recognize Senator Erwin too.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair. Gusto ko lang po maliwanagan na bakit po natin ipapatawag ang Secretary po ng Department of Public Works and Highways. And when in fact this is a bicameral conference committee, conference po between the lower house and the upper chamber, di po ba ng Congress and Senate, wala naman po nakalagay dito na kasama po executive. Ang tanong ko po kasi, we have given them ample time, Madam Chair, to the opportunity to explain during the committee hearings. Committee hearing po sa Congress, committee hearing po namin dito sa Senate, ganun din po sa plenary debate sa Congress, plenary debate dito sa Senate. Ang worry ko lamang, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, is that we might be creating a precedent na baka hindi na po tayo matapos na tuwing pag meron po tayong pagdidiskusyonan na budget ng isang department o ng ahensya, kailangan po natin ipatawag lagi ang Secretary para magpaliwanag. Sa bicameral conference committee, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair.
Sen. Win, I'll defer to Representative Rufus
Sir
Rodriguez
Chairman,
to respond.
this is a plenary conference committee. And any committee in Congress, whether it is in the House or in the Senate, has the power to be able to have resource persons to explain things that may not be very clear to everyone. And so we have the power to invite. And precisely, there is now an issue on the price index. And therefore, we are saying that let us listen. We will not agree, we may agree, but the point is that transparency requires that we hear the executive. After all, it's the executive that will implement what we will pass. And if the executive says that these are the things that they have to consider, and since they are the ones implementing, Congress does not implement projects. So that is why we are requesting just to hear. We are not going to say that we're going to agree to the letter or the recommendation, but let us hear the real resource person, the agency lodged with the public works and highways of this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Before I address that issue, allow me to recognize...
It's important that we put things in a proper perspective. Hindi po Senado ang nagtakda ng presyo. Lahat po ng nakalap naming impormasyon ay ayon sa Department of Public Works and Highways. That's very clear. We did not measure roads. We did not weigh sand and gravel. Hiniling po namin, ayon sa aming mga hearing at plenary session, ang impormasyon sa Department of Public Works and Highways. Example, tayo po ay nagsisiyasat ng CMPD. Siguro, kalahati sa kwartong to, o baka iba, hindi alam yung CMPD. That's the cost materials price data. Para malaman natin, magkano ba ang asfalto, ang hot mix per metric ton? Sa previous cost, yung nakaraang cost, dahil sinabi sa mga Blue Ribbon hearing, sinabi sa maraming mga hearing, galing na rin sa executive, hindi sa Senado. 13,863.85. Ito po ay galing sa DPWH. Tapos, nagsumite ang executive, ang DPWH, sa chair. Pati kay Senator Lacson, na Blue Ribbon Chair, updated cost 6,961.32. I-add po nyo yan, ay kalahati. Isa lang po yung asphalt mix, steel sheet pile, U-type per kilogram, 62.07, cost dati. Pag sinabing cost dati, yun daw ang ginagamit ng DPWH dati. Pero yung updated cost, ayon din sa DPWH ngayon, 39.89. De halos kalahati, 2/3. Marami pa po, hindi naman tayo magko-construct ng bagong PICC. I just put that on record so that it's in historical knowledge and in history, hindi po Senado ang nagtalaga ng presyo ng sand and gravel at ng semento. Ito po ay galing sa DPWH. So, in all fairness to the chair and to the leadership of the Senate whom we met today, Senate President Soto advised us to speak for and in behalf of the Senate leadership that we, based on our knowledge, and that is our job as national officials to get information from the executive. Hindi naman po kami nagising at sabi namin gusto namin, ibaba ang presyo. Siyempre gusto natin. But this is data-driven. It's based on science. And it came from the agency of government. And so they submitted that to us, and therefore, they computed. We are willing to listen, of course. We are reasonable people. That's why we serve the people. But let it be very clear. The senators did not invent the numbers. These are from the Department of Public Works and Highways, the previous administration, and the new incumbent administration. In fact, it was live streamed. You can go back in your records. No less than Secretary Vince Dizon said to the chair, ibaba nga nyo, tanggalin yung mga proyektong to mula sa 800 plus na flood control, naging 625, pwede pa nyong ibaba. Sige, kasi hindi pa namin kayang masukat lahat dahil bago lang ako ilang buwan. So ibaba nyo. And that is the basis. We did not, and the chair did not put down the cost unilaterally, arbitrarily. It is data-driven. All the facts, many more, came from the Department of Public Works and Highways. Having said that, I am certain that our colleagues in the House of Representatives want a budget reflective of what is due to the people. If it's a farm-to-market road, we don't want it overpriced. If indeed it's 10 million per kilometer, it should be such. If it's 15 million, kung tumaas na ang presyo. Kung magkano ang graba, ayaw natin ng doble ang presyo. Kasi ang ginagastos natin, pero ng taong bayan. Diba? Pag nagtatayo tayo ng bahay kubo, alam natin magkano ba ang kogon, magkano ba ang kawayan, magkano ang konti ng semento. So, I am just clarifying all that, lest it be misconstrued that the Senate invented the numbers just to bring down the cost. Yes, we all want a lower cost, but these were inputs submitted to the Senate by the Department of Public Works and Highways. And I speak like this in behalf of the Senate leadership because we had a caucus 2 hours earlier. I appreciate the patience of our colleagues in the House of Representatives. Thank you.
We recognize Senator Imee.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair and Madam Chair. Following on to Senator Legarda's statement, let us first clarify that there has been ample time. August 31 was the appointment date of Secretary Dizon. That was quite a few months ago, during which period, nakailang beses siyang humarap sa Senado, paulit-ulit po ang tanong namin kung talagang sapat itong budget na nilaan. I quote, verbatim, September 18, the Department of Public Works and Highways slashes 255 billion worth of locally funded flood control projects from the 2026 budget. And may I quote verbatim, we are revising the agency's budget. Nanggaling sa kanila po. We have removed complicated projects, overlapping projects that are still receiving funding or that have been allocated funding for 2026. Verbatim po, siya nagsabi niyan. Hindi kami nag-imbento niyan. Ngayon, sabi niya na review na raw nila yung initial proposal, nagtanggal sila ng 255.53 billion worth of duplicate or complicated projects or completed overlapping projects. Ang ibig ba sabihin, i-restore yung mga duplicated, completed, and overlapping projects. Doon ako nagtataka. At ano ang garantiya natin na sa loob ng 2 buwan na naman, after 2 months, he may change his mind again, as he has, apparently, yesterday. So from September 18, kahapon, December, nako, baka naman sa Pebrero, iba na naman ang usapin. Ayoko naman ng ganito. Ano kaya talaga ang direksyon natin? Hindi po ito nanggaling sa amin. Narinig naman ninyo, verbatim ang quote na yan. Yan ang press release ni Secretary Dizon.
Madam Chair. Mr. Chair.
Representative Pepito Alvarez and then Representative Libanan.
Tama po si Senador Loren, tama rin si Senador Marcos. Ngunit bigyan ko lang ng example na hindi mo ma-apply ito sa lahat ng project sweeping po. Na halimbawa, MBUC, yung pag-asphalt overlay, Mr. Chair. Southern Palawan, ang presyo ng aggregates at saka graba, saka yung buhangin, 1,000 because we have 26 rivers. Napakaraming buhangin doon. Ngunit sa norte, wala akong masyadong ilog. Nag-i-import sila from Mindoro. Lagay ko lang sa tamang perspective din. So, kung ang MBUC application nyo, asphalt overlay for the whole of Palawan, tanggalan mo ng 50%, yung norte, hindi mo mapagawa. Sa SOR, pwede. Kasi yun na yung ultimate mission ng DPWH eh. At saka I'll put it on record, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, this representation was the one who complained to Secretary Bersamin to remove the 255 billion of people's money from the DPWH budget. It is not a unilateral move from the Department of the Public Works and Highways na sila ang nagtanggal. Ako po, personally, ang nag-complain doon kay Secretary Bersamin nung nandoon siya sa amin sa House. Habang nalulunod ang buong bansa sa flood control, kung maaari, tanggalin mo muna itong 255 billion na ito. Kasi kung hindi namin tatalakayin yung budget ng executive, ibalik muna namin sa inyo. Kinahaponan, na-inform kami, na in-instructionan siya ni Pangulo, tanggalin yung 255 billion na yan. Dito po nanggaling sa akin ang pagtanggal ng flood control. Kasi ang flood control, alam ko po, talagang overpriced. Okay? So ang flood control, pwede mong apply yung overpriced provision. But kung gagawa ka ng MBUC, walang graba sa Northern Palawan, 600 kilometers po ang distansya ng buong Palawan. When you construct in the southern portion, napakaraming buhangin. Sa norte, halos walang graba doon kasi maliliit ang ilog. Puting buhangin lang ang norte. Yun po ang difference. Ang gusto ko lang, mapakinggan natin si Secretary Vince na wag sweeping. Kapag 50% ang MBUC, hindi pare-pareho ang Palawan. Isang probinsya lang yun. Sa Cebu, might be the same. Kasi nag-i-import din sila. Wala sa masyadong graba sa Cebu eh. Nag-i-import din sila. Sa Bohol, wala rin masyadong graba. But in Northern Mindanao, marami po kaming graba doon. Sa ibang lugar, hindi ko alam. Kaya nakikiusap kami na pakinggan yung para madinig ng buong bayan si Secretary Vince kasi meron na siyang ginawang ratio eh. Ito na. Pakinggan muna natin. Kasi kami sa Kongreso, ayaw din namin ng overpriced project. Hindi pwede yun. Hindi lang Senado ang may gusto. Kami, number 1. Ako mismo, nagpatanggal ng 255 billion and that is on record in the House. Thank you. Can I reiterate the motion to invite Secretary Vince para madinig ng buong bansa na hindi pare-pareho. Pag 50%, dapat per project ang implementation. Yun lang ang pakiusap. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Alvarez and to Chairperson Mika. Dahil nga dito sa statement na ito at meron ho nga nakasulat ho dito, to avoid inaccurate costing and potential project unimplementability, at ito ay isang apela sa Senado, gusto rin ho namin marinig yung kanyang pag-aanalisa dito po sa isyung ito, itong CMPD/adjustment factors. Pero, for the record again, nung nagkaroon ho kami ng dalawang hearing sa Senado, klarong-klaro na sinabi niya na may maraming overpriced na items sa loob ng budget. At tingin ko, hindi ho tayo magdedebate na ayaw natin yung overpriced items sa budget. Pare-pareho tayo lahat. No? Hindi ho tayo magdedebate doon. Ang gusto ho natin, isang budget na malinis, isang budget na ang kanilang presyo ay totoong presyo at reasonableng presyo. No? Yun naman ang gusto natin yung lahat. Dahil kung tayo ay mag-approve ng proyekto o ng budget ngayon na overpriced, babalik tayo sa dating problema. No? Yun doon naman ho kami nanggagaling. At again, sabi nga ni Senator Loren, itong application ng CMPD adjustment factor nanggaling ho to sa DPWH. Hindi ho kaya ng Senado, wala ho kaming mga engineers, wala ho kaming mga taong kayang mag-apply ng ganun. Ito galing ho sa DPWH. Kaya doon ho namin kinuha at for the record, sinupply rin ho sa amin yung mga adjustment factors na yun formally at doon ho namin in-apply. Dahil sa Senado, ang aming direksyon ay ma-apply yung tamang presyo sa mga proyekto. So,
Madam
sige
Chair?
po. Yeah.
Yes, very quickly, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, very quickly. Hindi lamang kasi yung overpriced flood control ang ating concern. In fact, yung hearings dun sa classroom acceleration measure, pati yung DPWH classrooms, overpriced, lumalabas. Kaya, kung sinabi nilang overpriced, yung secretary mismo, tapos ngayon ay sinasabing, aprubahan natin, ibalik natin yung pricing, ayaw nating pikit matang mag-aaproba at tatanggapin yung kanyang paliwanag na biglang parang 180-degree turn siya, no? Nagbaliktad. Yung dating overpriced, gusto niyang i-restore. Yun ang concern namin. Yung dating sinabi niyang overpriced, ngayon gusto niyang ibalik. Tama ba yun? Kaya dapat lang magpaliwanag siya.
Madam Chair, maraming salamat po sa comment ng mga senador.
Minority Leader Libanan.
Thank you po, Mr. Chairman. Maraming salamat po. Ang isang kailangan nating i-consider din po dito, na hindi lang tayo nag-a-appropriate ng pondo. Ang importante, nag-a-appropriate tayo ng pondo na mai-implement. Kasi kung hindi po ito ma-implement ng tama, walang saysay maglagay ng pondo dito. At sinusuportahan ko po yung pag-imbita sa ating sekretary. Maraming salamat po.
Mr. Chair, I support the request for Secretary Dizon to explain to both houses and to everyone so that we can be clarified. Anyway, from the beginning, sila naman sa DPWH ang nagbigay sa atin ng impormasyon, so we see how it will be revised, amended, taken back, or just explained para maliwanag. So I join the House in asking him to explain to all of us, if that's fine with the body.
Before we invite Secretary Vince, the last words
Yes,
from
Mr. Chair.
Senator Erwin.
For the record lang, Mr. Chair, just point of clarification, siguro the House should start reviewing yung Section 62 of the Rules of the House. Na nagsasabi po na in cases where the House does not agree with the Senate on any amendments to any House bill and these measures have conflicting provisions, differences may be settled by conference committees only composed of representatives from both chambers. Yun lang naman sa akin, Mr. President, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair. Thank you po.
Senator Erwin, ito naman ay meron pong concurrence ng both the Senate and the House of Representatives. So talagang hong bihirang-bihira ang nag-i-invite ng resource persons. No? Dahil ito ay pag-uusap o pagpupulong po ng dalawang kapulungan. Pero kung meron pong mga ganitong talagang kakaibang sitwasyon at kailangan ho natin maintindihan na mas malalim pa ho yung mga issues, with the concurrence of both chambers, pwede naman ho tayo mag-invite.
So-
pero tama ho kayo na ito dapat bihirang-bihira, hindi ho pwede maging regular.
I guess, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, we have to review our rules. Or in the future, Mr. Chair, this will happen again. Then alam mo natin ang gagawin. There will be no more discussions.
Yeah.
In the future, ika nga bicameral conference between the two houses. Kasi there's already establishing rule na pag may conflicting, hindi talaga magkasundo, pwede natin ipatawag, magpaliwanag yung sa Executive Department, Mr. Chair. Yun lang naman ang punto ko, Mr. Chair. But I do agree. Sige, let's bring him in. Pero in the future, Mr. Chair.
Tama ho kayo. Talagang hindi ho pwede maging regular to na kung hindi ho tayo nag-agree, merong third party na papasok. Hindi ho talagang, but in this case, dahil technical to, about engineering, about pricing, something na hindi ho natin expertise, no, lahat ho dito. Kaya in this very special circumstance, and with the agreement of both chambers, we will invite Secretary Dizon to explain this issue. No? So
Mr.
with that, yes, do you want to say the last words, Senator Imee?
No, nagre-react lang po ako. Vince Dizon is no engineer. He's an economist and a political aide.
That's true, but he's the secretary of the Department of Public Works, and he was the one who made that statement during the public hearings in the Senate, and he also is the one who supplied the adjustment factors in CMPD to the Senate. So with that, with the concurrence of the House, we can invite Secretary Dizon as a resource person of this.
With the concurrence of both houses, there being a motion from the House and also motion by Senator Loren, we then approve any second from the Senate po. The motion is hereby approved. We invite Senator Vince Dizon to please step into the room. Secretariat, please call, what did I say? Senator, my apologies. Secretariat, please call Secretary Vince.